One.
Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Myth Told. I'm Meg.
And I'm John.
And today we're going to tell the story of Theseus.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to that one. I haven't heard that since I was probably 6 or 7.
Yeah, so this will be a great story for you and for the audience, whoever you are. So, this is the legend of Theseus, Athens' most well-known hero. He was most well-known for slaying the Minotaur, but he has other exploits before and after he slayed the Minotaur.
He killed the Minotaur?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I guess I just remember the Minotaur dying, but I don't remember who killed him.
Yeah.
All right, great.
A lot of people remember the Minotaur, but not the hero behind him. So, we're going to start off as most Greek mythologies start, without the hero in the story. We'll start off with his parents. His mother is Athera, and his father, it's a bit complicated.
That's quite a name.
Well, that's not exactly his name.
Okay.
But Athera both bedded with Poseidon and Aegeus on the same night.
You could say have sex with.
Yeah, had sex with. It's just a more formal way of saying
right.
it, like in Greek mythology. But she had sex with both Aegeus and Poseidon. So some people say it was Poseidon because Theseus has a lot of more godly things that most fully mortal people would not have. And some say it's Aegeus and he was just blessed by the gods because maybe Poseidon thought he was his child in some way.
So Poseidon is the sea.
Yeah, the sea god.
The other guy, Aegeus?
He's the king of Athens.
Oh, okay. Now
Yeah.
I'm caught up. All right.
Very well. So let's continue. But some actually say they're both his father, where something happened and it both genetic pools. So maybe he has 3 parents. Maybe he has 2. We don't know.
2 sperm, 1 egg. Is that
2
a thing?
sperm, 1 egg. I mean, that's how twins are made. So.
Huh. But all right.
I think. Or is it 2 eggs? No, 2 eggs, 2 sperm. Anyway, before we get too caught off of the main storyline, Aegeus had to return to Athens before he could watch his son grow up. So he wanted to leave a gift for his son. I say that in heavy quotations as we do not know. The writer of the Greek mythology did not know.
So they just left it out.
Yeah, they just left it out. So his believed son, possibly his son, left, and he left a bunch of things underneath a boulder for him to retrieve once he turned 16. In Greek mythology, when you turn 16 as a boy, you turn into a man. It's a whole thing. It's different because 18 now would be the regular age for Americans, at least.
But we don't leave things under a rock.
No, we don't leave things under a rock. Some of the things that were underneath that rock were a sword and a travel bag. The sword had Athens' royal sigil on it, so he knew where his ancestry came from, the kings of Athens. And
if he was the son.
Yeah, and a new tunic, as that was a whole thing. If you got when you got a new tunic, you got a man tunic instead of a boy tunic. He retrieved it. He had learned many skills on the little island that him and his mother were on. And once he figured, his mother was very transparent about his father's father. She didn't know. Nobody knew. Because that's hard. You can't do a paternity test in ancient Greek times.
So, no, I suppose not.
So, we really need to bring someone on here from You Are Not the Father. But, so.
Too bad you can't do DNA testing now, because it's mythology.
Yeah, he's dead.
Real. Well, that would be okay, but if they don't actually exist.
Yeah. I mean, he could not exist. So, yeah. But once he removed the boulder from the little thing, and
he had to remove it.
Yeah, he had to remove the boulder by himself. He created an entire like pulley system. He was very smart as well as strong, so he created an entire pulley system with rope and like different things and mechanics, because the ancient Greeks did have pulley systems. That's how they made all the temples and stuff to the gods. And he created a pulley system and removed the boulder in that way with like sticks and trees and string and whatever.
Wow, okay.
As well as his own brute strength, it just made it easier. As he wasn't a god, he could have been a child of the gods.
Right.
The second head honcho of gods. But once he realized that his heritage was in Athens, and, well, he left his home and at the age of 16 and left and said goodbye to his mother, left his mother on the island, which was sad. Tearful goodbyes everywhere. Oh no, Theseus, don't leave me. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, he was given a new tunic and a traveling bag, so it kind of sets up I'm going on a quest here.
Yeah. So, as soon as he left, he traveled to Athens. He traveled over mountains and the sea. Sorry, I almost hit you in the face.
Yeah. Good thing they didn't see that.
Yeah. Good thing. This is not visual podcast. And he traveled. Let's go to Athens at the time, as it wasn't the prosperous land that most people know it as.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
Because Aegeus, well, he wasn't the greatest king. He was being manipulated there were many like gangs in the Athens area that were trying to wait out until Aegeus died, so they could take over the throne, because they thought he didn't have any sons.
Oh, okay.
Because the reason he left them was because he had to go back. He left his wife and his son because he had to go back. And if he didn't go back, and if he brought them with him, they would know he has a son and would hunt down and kill Theseus as a child, which is weird. Hunting it down and killing babies is not cool. These were not cool dudes. There was also a boar that could practically not be killed, that was rampaging through the city, as well as this deal that he had to make with the Cretes, which is the island that the boot is kicking. And he...
Good geography lesson.
Yeah, geography. Crete is the island that Italy is kicking away. But they made a deal with the Cretans, which were the most powerful at the time. They had to send over 14 children to the Minotaur and the Labyrinth on Crete.
Okay, this is where the Minotaur gets in. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
But those were the three main problems, as well as poverty, taxes, blah, blah, blah.
And just an all-around bad king.
Yeah, he couldn't control his citizens or anyone. He was really old. He was like 60, like 65, which is very old in that time. Like, now the average age is 70 to 80. Back then, the average age would be about like 20.
You mean lifespan?
Like the average lifespan.
Yeah. Like, so if
like
the average age on Earth was 77 right now, he'd be really old.
Yeah. He lived a really long time, as most kings did, because they didn't have to go to war and do all that. As the average age of most people was late 20s, early 30s, was when most people died back then. So, Theseus arrived in the prosperous land of Athens. And there's poop on the ground, probably diseases in the air, and he had to find an audience with this king. He knew that Aegeus was his father, but he knew that he wouldn't recognize him. He couldn't just waltz up to the castle and be like, "Hey, I'm your son." Aegeus wouldn't believe him.
Okay. All right.
And Aegeus' wife, well, soon-to-be wife, because he left his actual wife on the island, and the island, and he had to marry a new woman because he would be, like, dishonored and stuff. So this woman was Medea, the sorceress.
Oh, Medea. All right.
Yeah, Medea.
Not Medusa.
Not Medusa.
You can't get those confused.
Yeah, Medea is a very powerful sorceress, and
named a play after her.
Yeah, they named a play after her. She's pretty famous. She's one of the only famous women of Greek mythology times, but she was known as evil.
Yeah, doesn't that...
Yeah, that's great.
Yeesh.
So, Theseus knew Medea wouldn't let him in. His father wouldn't recognize him as his son. They would probably kill him for trying to communicate with the king outside of his reign, because they probably thought he was a poor person, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
So, what did he do? He saw a poster on this wall. If you kill the invincible boar, you will get a hearing with the king. You can complain, you'll get a luxurious dinner, you'll be known as a hero.
Wait, you can complain?
Yeah, you can complain about things, like taxes and things like that, like a hearing, and you can just talk about what is going on.
Okay. Without getting killed.
Yeah. And...
Sweet gig.
Yeah, and Aegeus knew no one was going to take that up because the boar was practically at Nemean lion levels of, like, invincible. The Nemean lion was known for its invincible fur that no weapons could penetrate. It was almost up there. So it was fast, it was smart, it was all those things. But Theseus, the hero of the story, beat the boar and got the hearing with his father. Medea didn't like this.
Okay, so Medea didn't like this because...
she thought, well, if Theseus... She recognized him immediately as his son.
All right.
Because they kind of look similar, you know?
Sure.
But also, he kind of looks like the pictures of Poseidon in the temples. So, furthering the confusion. So, she immediately recognized him as Theseus with the sigil on his sword. And she was like, oh no, he's going to bring Aegeus' wife, his mother over here, and going to be all like, no, you can't marry him. She wanted him for his, like, money and power.
So, Aegeus must be pretty blind? I mean, like, he doesn't have good eyesight?
Yeah, because he's old.
Because he's old. He's 60.
I mean, have you seen your eyesight?
Yeah. Well, I didn't come on here to be abused. Elder abuse.
Well, anyway. But, so, she was like, I think this young man is going to try to dethrone you and kill you. And all kings during that time period were very paranoid. Especially Aegeus, as he wasn't a good king. Who wouldn't want to kill a bad king and become king? So...
Who'd want to defend a bad king?
Yeah. Who would want to be like, oh, it was all his fault, and not be like, oh no, what a horrible accident.
Yeah.
That's what he knew his citizens would be like that. Because they had been poverty, wounded, their children were being sent off to Crete to be dead, to be like dead, like die.
To be dead, yeah.
To be dead. And so, Medea was like, honey, darling, my love, why don't we kill this boy?
Because she's evil.
Because she's evil. She's evil, she's manipulative. Well, Aegeus was like, good idea. Good idea.
Because he's not a good king.
Because he's not a good king. And no one would back him up. And blind. And not know things. So, what did they do? They tried to poison Theseus.
While he was there, just to
While he was there.